Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make millions with Xcn. Why Xcn is being one of the best performers in the market so far for the year. Many of you have been buying since last year or at the start of the year when I've been giving out these free buy calls at these lows, and again, completely free on this YouTube channel before the breakout occurred. And if you missed out on that, it means you're not subscribed to the channel. So please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any more buy calls on Xcn or top calls as well, and obviously daily updates. Subscribed, perfect. Let's continue. Now, the majority of the people that are holding Xcn right now have dreams of making millions. Now, the most common way that the majority of you plan on making this millions is, number one, holding it till $1 or whatever the number is that gets you to that $1 million target, or it's simply putting in a few $1,000s and just waiting until again it hits this $1 million target. Now, there's no real issue with this per se, but it's about the timing, right? So if you're just holding until $1 or you're holding until it eventually hits 1 million, you could be waiting 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 2 years. The point is, you don't know the time frame. So I'll give you a classic example of what I'm talking about. Instead of waiting 2, 4, 6, 10, 20 years, or potentially it may never happen, all you had to do instead, and here's a classic example, the pump that happened at the start of the year, which was a 18x pump. In fact, it was more than that. It was about 20x. So a 20x pump. Let's just say you started with $1,000, $1,000, 20x pump, you make $19,000 profit. Now, most people do not focus on the percentage gain. They only focus on the dollar amount. So for them, $19 is nowhere near that $1 million mark. So therefore, they continue to hold on. And what happens, as I explained in my last video, price crashes, complete wipeout of most of your profits, and then you have to wait a few months for price to bounce back. Now, the good news is, because we're getting ready to see the full market parabolic breakout, the good news is the majority of you that held on aren't going to be wiped out, right? So that's the good news for now. But on the next market peak, this may not be the case. And that's why I'm actually going to walk you through step by step on how you can do this. So and again, we're going to start from now. So this is to help all the newcomers that are currently watching this video. And if you've been watching my videos from my calls at the lows, or if let's say you're someone that's up 20x, or you won't be up 20x now because of the pullback, but let's just say you're up significantly, you can map out the analysis in accordance to your entry point. So at 0.01877891, let's assume price goes back up to all-time highs, 173%. Price then goes up to our second target of 385%. And then let's say price goes all the way back up to all-time highs, right? So let's just bring price all the way back up to that 20-cent target, or close to that 20-cent target, so which is about a 9x, or let's just say 10x to make the maths easy to follow. Now, a 10x from where we currently are now, let's assume you have $1,000 in this, you make $9,000. If you have $10,000 in this, you make $190,000, which is, again, not small amounts of money. This is large amounts of money that we're talking about, and I'm going to explain why it's large amounts of money. Because instead of hodling beyond this point, and remember, our analysis is always based on the macro. That's how we were able to predict where Xcn was going. That's how we're able to predict the pullbacks on Xcn. So we know when it's going to crash, we know when it's going to go up. And this is how essentially we can just buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, and we can keep repeating that process because we understand the macro data. So this is the general market, the stock market. This would be the broader cryptocurrency market, etc. So because we understand this, it almost gives us that bird's eye view. So if the market, let's assume the overall market is going to crash, right? And I'm going to slow things down. Let's assume Bitcoin is going to crash by the time we hit 0.00925,475, right? So let's just assume the market is about to pull back and crash by this point. Now that's only a 4x, which means if you're buying now, by the time the market crashes again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's just assume this is the case. Well, yes, you make a 4x, but you have to make the executive decision to cash out. Why? Because the market is going to dip. Wait for the market to dip again, and it may pull all the way back to your entry point. Wait for it to bottom, and then you just buy in again, and you repeat that process. And but on the next pump, it could take you towards this 9 or 10x target. So let's just use again $1,000 to this 4x. You now make a $4,000 profit. Price crashes, you sold at the right time. You're buying it at the low with $4,000 now. Price 10x's, how much do you make? $40,000. And this is all through simple selling at the right time, re-entering at the right time, and then buying at the next peaks. And here's the good news. You can do this on Xcn for the foreseeable future. And that's what we're going to be doing. So for any of you that are interested in this strategy in more in depth, join the free Telegram group below. I actually have a video in there that shows you the 3 to 10x strategy in more depth. So how to turn 1,000 into 10, and then how to turn 10,000 into 100, and then how to turn 100 into 1 million. And I show you this in less than 8 minutes. It's pinned to my free Telegram group. The link is in my description. If you don't have the Telegram app downloaded, download the Telegram app and click the link below so you can see how to do this step by step, right? Now, with that being said, once you watch that video, your biggest obstacle is going to be, okay, I actually understand how to do this now. I understand how this works. Instead of, essentially missing out on a 20x, 30x, etc., and then seeing price crash on me, now you're only up 100 or 200%, I can cash out, wait for price to dip, buying at the low, and essentially 10x what I made profit on, right? Now that you understand this and know that there's actually a path to this 6-7 figure realm, now you need to understand how the market rhythm works, right? And we've got a team that have been doing this with XRP. We know people that have been doing this XRP, literally buying XRP at the lows, wait for it to pump, sell again at the lows. And we've had people that have gone from 10,000 all the way up to over 500k simply using that strategy on XRP, buying at the lows, selling at the top, buying at the lows, catching the bottom again, and then simply riding it up. Now, Xcn is the next major opportunity to do this with. And here's the exciting part. For those of you that had the patience to make it throughout this entire video, right? The good news is Xcn could hit that $1 target from where we currently are, which is 50x away. It could do that. In fact, we could see Xcn potentially go up to 20 cents or 30 cents before the next market peak. It just depends on what the market does over the next few weeks. We do think it does go parabolic, and I've explained why in my free Telegram group below. So again, make sure you watch that. So from where we currently are now, we could actually see a 15x. We could see a 10x. And this is the exciting part, because if you bought from even at the low, guess what? You make over 10,000%, 100x riding this up to 30 cents, right? Even if you bought, right, on my recent buy call at this low, you make over 35x, which is absolutely insane. This is life-changing money. Everybody in this community will be able to make, but you have to, number one, know what you're doing, where to cash out, where to take profit, where to buy back in. And again, you'll get access to all of that. I'll be actually revealing my millionaire makeover list in my Crypto Crew Premium channel. The link is in the description if you want access to that. And that's essentially where I'm going to show everyone how they can scale their portfolios as fast as humanly possible on this next parabolic breakout. And then I'll also be calling the top. So literally, we're going to do this all in real time. So let's say you make a fortune on Xcn, or you've already made a fortune in Xcn, and you want to roll over some profits into a project that can 10, 20x, 30x in the short term. We're going to give you access to those projects. So XCN is going to be a real wealth creation opportunity for many. It's already changed a lot of people's lives buying at the start of the year. But now it's time to accelerate this growth. And you're noticing a pullback. Again, this was obvious. We saw XCN go up, 100 plus percentage points. A pullback was inevitable. Why? The market never goes in a straight line. So if you're somebody that didn't buy on my buy low calls, you saw price pump, then you buy at the peak, it's almost impossible to make money in the market with this strategy because you're always going to be one step behind. You're essentially buying when people are selling, and then you're selling when people are buying. So you almost set yourself up for failure in that sense. So let's break that cycle. Let's break that mold. And just to be clear, because some people are going to say, okay, but how exactly do I make millions with XCN? Okay, let's just go over it one more time. It's simple. You capture a 5x, 10x, 20x on XCN, depending on where the peak is. Again, we will be talking about where the peak is on XCN. So again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're in my free Telegram group, and make sure you're a Crypto Crew Premium member because we're going to talk about this. But essentially, you can capture the first initial move. You cash out on that. Let's just use 10x, for example. So you turn 1,000 into 10,000 or 10,000 into 100K. You cash out, you wait for price to dip again. You buy back in at the lows, and you can do this with other projects. It doesn't just have to be XCN. And then you capture another 10x move or 5x move. And now you've turned your 10 into 50K, right? Or you turn your 10K into 100K. And you've done this all within a short period of time because you're not just holding on. Whereas if you just hold on, for example, with XCN, let's say you just held it. Well, guess what? You've been down now for 4 months. You've been down for 4 months. Now, the good news is because the market is breaking out, there's not much to worry about because we're going to go parabolic. But on the next market peak, you need to make sure you're cashing out at the right time. You need to make sure you're in a position where you can actually complete this 3 to 10x strategy. And I'm going to help you do that. Anyway, guys, nothing that you see in this video is financial advice. Always make sure to do your own independent research. Until next update, guys, seize the day.